Hi everyone, I hope you're well. This is CoinsKid. Just going to XRP. Once again, thank you for your support. Okay, big the CoinsKid crew. So the moment of truth is here for XRP and the crypto markets, because my primary on Bitcoin at the moment, for anyone that's been paying attention, and I did post this in the CoinsKid Discord, I do think that XRP and Bitcoin have been in a correction since July. Okay, I think we've come up an impulsive move and we've had this correction since July in both charts. Okay, so I'll overlay the XRP chart for you. I know people just want XRP, but I do look at Bitcoin with you and the XRP chart with you to build confidence of analysis of whether or not it's going to go up or down. So this is what I look for. So in this downtrend here for Bitcoin, look at this. This is the hourly time frame. You started to build all this bullish divergence. Now, really simply, what I think we've got here in both of these charts is a zigzag or some kind of expanded flat correction. Okay, now the difficult thing obviously is in any correction, where is the bottom? Okay, so I think that what we've gone from for Bitcoin is really simple. I think we've had an impulsive move off this low in June. We've come up and then we've had this zigzag back where we've got this overlapping zigzaggy waves, okay, that are coming back like this. Now, technically, that could have been an A into a B into the C. We're done. We broke out, we're back test, and we're looking to go for Bitcoin. So we need to see Bitcoin doing this if we're expecting XRP to play catch up or move up the stairs at all, okay? So I'm looking at Bitcoin with you as confidence of the fact that, okay, the correction's over. Now, if you take a look at Bitcoin from this high, we've got a three-wave move down, a three-wave move back up, and I think this has been the C wave that just potentially bottomed on the golden ratio. And I did say to the CoinsKid crew, this is where I built some positions, and there is a neckline just there as well, of resistance, okay? Now, in C waves, what I do tend to look for, and I'll take the super trend off because it's easy to see, is a look for a push down into support, okay? Where we found support, you come back up and you flush through in a third wave. So I think what we may have seen is a 1 into a 2 into a 3 into a 4 into a 5 for Bitcoin. I relayed this to the CoinsKid crew in Twitter and obviously in the Discord as well. So here we've come up, we've gone sideways in a 2, and it looks as though we're trying to break out right now. So we need to see the follow through for Bitcoin, and this would indicate to me, okay, from this point here, you've been in the A into the B into the C, okay? But a lot of people here thought this was the top of the run, and like I said to you, I don't even think that's an impulsive move. I think that's a corrective move, and I think it's part of a correction that began in July. And the reason is, and for those people that paid attention, it's because of XRP, leading the way basically. So if I drop the XRP chart in for you, just there, and we take a look, we've got XRP, USD, and we'll drop it in, new price to scale. Now XRP is the confluence of this particular analysis, that this move here was a bull trap in Bitcoin, okay, and many other charts. So, we've peaked here, we've come down, we've come back up, we made the lower high for XRP, but the higher high for Bitcoin. So I think Bitcoin's seen a bull trap. And with that, we've seen this push to the downside that has lost this low. Everyone's thinking bear market because this is the top, but what it's not. This is just an impulsive move top from here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in both charts, ABC correction, potentially complete on the golden ratio, which would be absolutely amazing as a retracement level for Bitcoin. And right now it's looking to turn around. So we've got to keep an eye on Bitcoin, because if Bitcoin right now charges full steam ahead and starts attacking the highs and breaks out, XRP is about to go vertical because of liquidity flow from Bitcoin into XRP. So at the moment, I'm keeping my eye on Bitcoin for you as best I can, trying to find any impulsive move and corrective move that it's going through. So with Bitcoin, there is a trend line here that I've shown the CoinsKid crew. If you take a look, 1 sideways, 2, and you're breaking out right now on a 3. So we need to see the follow through on Bitcoin. If it does continue to come down the stairs, it does mean you're still in this correction, and this is your basically the start of the impulse at 98,235 for Bitcoin. Lose that low, just like the XRP low that I'm showing you every single day, then you're invalidating the fact that you've come up impulsively and you're retracing correctively before the next impulsive move up, which is currently my primary, providing we can hold the June low in each of those charts. So why do I still remain bullish on Bitcoin and XRP? And why have I remained bullish in all these videos? Okay, sometimes I will flip bearish on micro time frames and macro time frames because of the data, but at the minute the data suggests to me that we've not seen the top of this cycle, and the key data points that I'm looking for I'm going to relay to you right now. Okay, so I do think the first key indicator I'm going to keep an eye on with yourselves every single day is the the dumb money indicator, formerly retail top. I did rename this because I think it's just easy to understand for people. We're basically smart money. Smart money accumulates at the lows and sells at the highs, to the dumb money that shows up in droves thinking they're going to get rich. And this blue line is your dumb money indicator. The candlesticks is Bitcoin, obviously Bitcoin, XRP, crypto, whatever, is this candlestick. So whenever we start to see this dumb money indicator get low, expect some kind of pullback or correction in the markets. And this is why, in confidence with this data and Bitcoin rolling over in July, and equally XRP, I think the data is telling us right now that that was the beginning of the correction and not necessarily here. This was your B-wave bull trap. So we've come down, we've almost triggered a macro sell event here, okay, but it's not. It's been a micro sell event. you know, and Bitcoin from there has gone sideways after a 5-wave impulse off the lows down here in April. So it's been a beautiful move up, and then obviously, you know, people that have been buying down here, retail showing up, they're just getting dumped on again. So we're smart money basically. We're not dumb money. You know, we're not this blue line. We don't start buying crypto, you know, showing up in droves and expecting to get rich at the highs. You know, like I've taught you, buy big green candles, you're going to get shafted, you're going to get big red dildos. So you buy the blood, fear and depression. You buy 5 waves down, okay, which I've just shown you on the Bitcoin chart right there. So we buy 5 waves down. We've got 5 waves down on XRP. We've got 5 waves down on Bitcoin. You know, and these are always the opportunities. Now, it doesn't always guarantee that it's the bottom, because obviously it could be 5 waves of the first wave of 5 or whatever, or even the biggest move is obviously that it's 5 waves of A in C. So it's very complex, but I do think whenever we spot 5 waves down, it is always a buying opportunity, and this is something we trade on the channel. And equally, 5 waves up, you don't buy there, okay, and this is something I've taught you. So how accurate is this indicator? So I created this way back last year, and I remember creating it and showing you, and you know, in the videos, go back late last year, I expected a big correction to come into the market because retail had triggered the sell zone, the warning zone, right towards the end of the year. You know, we got this huge retail FOMO interest again. So we were buying all the blood, fear and depression in the summer. You know, that big crash there for XRP down about 0.388. We nailed that buy zone. And as we were coming up, I did say to you, look, I think we'll go through some kind of correction. And one of the data points I'm looking at in confidence that correction coming into the charts is this indicator. Create for yourselves the CoinsKid dumb money indicator. Again, retail interest showing up. Gonna get rich, buy everything. No, you're going to get dumped on. And this is a warning shot that I relay to you. I expect some kind of correction. A lot of people are saying to bearish and unsubscribing and things like that. But, you know, from just relying on a data point, I think there's a correction in the charts, okay? And obviously it did, you know, it come down. I think we had the A wave down, we had the bull trap B wave highs representing the data as well in January for XRP and Bitcoin, and then we rolled over, and then we found the bottom of the C wave beautifully, okay, in the spring. And look, if you take a look, retail, dumb money, it's just not there, okay? It's not interested, it's coming away. And again, you know, you're coming down, what's happening? It's getting a little bit toppy. Retail, the bottom's in, and then boom, rolls over again. So whenever you see, you know, spikes at the downside in this particular blue indicator, the blue line, the CoinsKid dumb money indicator, start to think about your position if you are sitting in profit, okay? And again, it's not rocket science, it's not financial advice, it's just a simple data point that I relay to you. So if we go back in time, we had 2 instances in 2021 where retail really did begin to show up into this market. In the spring of 2021, look at that, retail showing up, and we all know what happened there. A massive rug pull for XRP. You know, that was its top in 2021. It come down in the A, come up in a lower high B towards the end of the year. And again, this is a bull trap triggered in the retail showing up again late 2021, and then boom, rolled over into the C wave. You know, and we're fortunate enough to find the bottom of that C wave for anyone that paid attention to the channel updates every single day. So just there again in 2017, late 2017, you know, retail's beginning to show up, everything's getting pretty toppy. And again, what happened, you know, that was a huge crash and correction that lasted for 3 years for XRP. It just rolled over. So again, it could happen again. You know, XRP comes up, and then we start to see the retail interest, you know, the dumb wind indicator again coming down to the red line. If it does do that, I'll be relaying that to you. Be a lot of people unsubscribing saying I don't want to listen to him because he's too bearish and things like that. But I'll just be relaying the data to you, okay? So right now what we've got is basically blue line is flatlining. We're not seeing a spike down or anything like that. But again, if you take a look here, it starts to come up a little bit there, and you got your blue line spiking down. What happened? We pull back a little bit. So in time, keep an eye on this blue line, because I think if it does start to come down again, like it did late last year, okay, and it starts to hover down there for a number of weeks, for me, I think, you know, you're pushing your luck if you're expecting it to keep doing it in this cycle. This would be 2 times in this cycle that we've seen that. And I think the next time that, again, accompanying the data points, what, you know, where are we in time? I'll relay that to you, but I think it'll be one of the key data points to jump ship for XRP, okay? So another indicator to create for yourselves is the crystal ball indicator, which is a really simple indicator based on M2 global money supply. It does show liquidity still frothing around here, okay? You can get this into your trading view indicator. Let's jump into the XRP chart right now to see what we can see, okay? So look at XRP on the daily time frame. I think we're seeing an impulse, and like I said to you, I think this is corrective price structure. But one of the key things I'm looking at right now to get really excited on XRP is we need to take out that pivot point just there for XRP, okay? Because I think if we can start to see that, it will negate this lower high structure that we're creating, which is basically a descending triangle for XRP, which is a bearish pattern, okay? So from there to there, we are getting this level of resistance every time. Neckline there, and, you know, we've got the key support there and key support there. And if we retrace in 3 waves, you know, without taking this neckline out, then obviously we could be looking at a descending triangle where we're getting compression, right towards the apex of a descending triangle, which leads to expansion to the downside. Technically, okay, that's a technical pattern, a reversal pattern, a bearish pattern in the short term, which will be, you know, impulsive, ABC corrective coming back down into these lows here to retrace to the 786 potentially before the true reversal. So I'm looking for any clues to that, and I think obviously the clue would be that if we see a rejection again at the trend line, you know, and we start to roll and lose this support, then I think you're down here, okay, and we'll trade that in time. We'll obviously react to the price structure that we see. So at the minute, it's still a little bit compressed here, because if you take a look, we do have this technical support for XRP, and we've got this technical resistance just there, resistance, potentially, support. So it's getting compressed. It will react. Something will happen here as it gets compressed. You know, compression leads to expansion, like I've always taught you, okay? Just here's the opposite. So you're coming up, you're getting compression, leading to expansion of an ascending triangle, which is, you know, basically a break to the upside. So higher lows, compression, expansion, lower lows and lower highs, sorry, compression, expansion. Typically it comes back down the stairs. So we've got to keep an eye over the next couple of days at this level of resistance for XRP, this neckline most importantly, and then to negate the fact that, you know, you're coming down, you're making lower lows and lower highs, sorry, like this, okay, you've got to come up and break out that second pivot, because at the moment this is a pivot, that's a pivot. If you come up like this and take out that yellow line at 3833, then okay, you're negating the, you know, the potential bearish reversal pattern, which is a descending triangle, and at that point I will be looking at a flag, okay, as a bullish pattern. And I think I relayed this to you in recent times. So if it is a flag, it looks a little bit like this for XRP, okay? So you've come up impulsively and then you're flagging back. And we've traded many flags for XRP, but obviously that won't come to fruition unless we start to see support loss. If we see the support loss, I still think XRP is bullish, okay? Coming back down into this zone here, and then it reverses at some point. So over the next few days, like I relayed to you earlier in the video, it's very important that we see XRP break this resistance, break this neckline just there, take it out and start to make its way towards that line there at 3883. If it takes out that key pivot point, that high just there, you know, you're beginning to take out this descending triangle scenario. You're beginning to look really bullish here off this low for XRP, okay? So I'll leave you with that. Now, a few weeks ago, I did relate to the CoinsKid crew. I'm buying down here because, and again, I think I included it in the video, I can't remember, but it was in a Discord post just there. We've got the bullish divergence down here on the hourly time frame in 5 waves, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Bull div down here, beautiful. We've got some positions, and right now we're coming back up into this God candle back test at a minimal, where we found a little bit of resistance there, came back in the higher low, and we're breaking out right now. So we're looking to take out this neckline, and most importantly that yellow line there, 3833. We see that taken out, fantastic, but unfortunately at the minute there is a bit of a bearish divergence that's printing just there for XRP. We're creating these lower highs, okay, in the RSI and high highs in the index with a potential rising wedge. So I'll be very careful if you jump it into positions just there, because right on the neckline there is a little bit of confluence of a bearish divergence that's building on the hourly. And we need to take a look at the 4 hourly as well. So on the lower time frames we are seeing a bit of a bearish divergence, and on the hourly, 4 hourly, we're seeing that lower high and a higher high as well. So be cautious here if you're jumping into longs. I think you're taking on a little bit of risk for a pullback. Hope you understand the update. I'll keep you updated as best I can in the Discord, but take out that orange line from here, then I think that that is a massive increased probability that was your bottom right there, and we're not necessarily going to see these levels being tagged for XRP. But obviously I will react to the price structure that I see, okay? Hope you understand the update. Stay off, stay strong, stay tuned. Take care everyone. Back to another day on XRP. Bye bye.